Yeah, soldiers, it is your boy, the Anime Sage, coming to a video, or podcast episode, actually. And this is a start of a podcast where we discuss some channel merging topics going forward. And, well, it's going to be all done with my editor, Drew. Say hi to the audience, please.
Hello, people. To translate the sageism here, I guess, into proper English, what we're gonna talk about is more like a channel update, because a lot of people used to like the older milestone stuff, but the problem is YouTube hated that because they're evil. So we're gonna try to bring that back with the podcast, have some other topics again, and yes, Sage's Sanctum's back again.
Yeah,
Reborn.
boy.
Ready rebirth, I guess.
The rebirth of the Sage's Sanctum. Well, we have a bunch of topics to go over with this little update, I guess, slash podcast. But I feel like this is gonna be a fun time. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun time. Have you seen any of the new anime this season, by the way, Drew?
I've mostly been catching up with One Piece recently because I eventually want us to start covering One Piece series, but I want to make sure I'm caught up enough so I'm not spoiled, like, to front and back with it, obviously.
That's fair. There also, personally, recently I found a very interesting manga, well, more recently, but I'm not gonna... it's a seinen.
Or Doshin, or whatever.
It's a seinen. I would say.
Oh, like Vinland Saga. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But it's an isekai seinen.
That's a first. Isn't ReZero technically a seinen, or is that a shonen?
It's a light novel. I don't know if it's.
I don't know what I would count.
The source material is like a light novel, so I don't really know if I would count it as like any typical shonen or seinen manga. I would say that, considering how there's virtually not really the same type of topics covered in something like, let's say, Berserk or a Pun, I would probably say that it's more of it lies in that shonen aspect. But I wouldn't know how to fully rate a light novel, because light novels can have a lot more content at it in comparison to like your average shonen or your average, or even maybe sometimes your average seinen. I think an example of this probably be something like High School DxD, which I've heard has a really good light novel, and the anime's not as good. I might have to look at that if I have a chance. But in any case, the actual manga itself is Farming Life, cheat mode Farming Life in Another World. Not to confuse yourself with Farming Life in Another World. They're both very different in how they conduct things, but they're... I'm just gonna show you like one panel. I'm just gonna show you.
It seems fairly confusing.
I know it does sound a bit confusing, I will admit, but I'm gonna DM you one panel, and you're gonna
the one you post on Twitter.
Which one?
Oh, never mind. This is different.
No, this is different. Look at the facial expressions.
I think it's fine. I feel like I've seen something like that before, in all honesty.
Yeah, it's only unfortunately the one negative of it is only 21 chapters.
Oh, it just started, didn't it?
It has been. I'm actually not sure about that. I know that it has only 21 chapters, but I think the manga has been going on since 2019. Yeah, it released in 2019, but recently on stuff like Manga Scene and stuff, it's been releasing like a bunch of chapters going right about now. So I will say that it's a pretty decent read, but it's and it's actually really hilarious. It has some Dragon Ball references inside of the manga as well, so it's actually pretty. I actually found some of those pretty hilarious. It's honestly it doesn't really try to do too much, honestly, for what it's supposed to be, which is kind of just like an isekai seinen like type of style show or manga, I guess. And it's pretty interesting to be fair. But I think that's enough of that manga for now. Why don't we move on to the first topic right now, because we don't want to
Oh
get
yeah,
too off
one of
topic.
the main topics for the podcast, which is the channel merger itself. So, for people who don't know what that typically means, usually, like when you have what's the best way to describe it? Um, like you, what I don't have explanation. Sage, you have a good comparison because I can't think of something.
I honestly thought you would have a pretty good explanation, to be honest.
I
So
should have
I'm
What
probably.
about when like a team players like trade to another team? I guess that kind of works.
I guess that's probably the
Because
best way
the
you can
core of the
describe
team's
it.
still mostly the same.
Yeah. So like, if you a core, like a part of like there, it's basically kind of like a trade at this point. We're kind of like or maybe even like we're kind of just like crap. The only time that a merger ever happened in the NFL was like the Steagles.
We're pulling a Funimation Crunchyroll merger.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I guess that's the best. I guess that's the best way to weebify our language with that type of stuff. So the main points here is that some of Drew's content is going to be moved to my channel, and at the same time, content will just remain on Drew's channel. So there's just going to be stuff that's going to be uploaded over to my channel just to add a lot more content variety, such as Dragon Ball stuff and whatever. Plus, maybe finishing some certain series that Drew was never able to get to, unfortunately. But at the same time, there's certain content that has to remain up on his channel. So it's not really, there's not really anything that's going to be disappearing or anything like that. And Drew's channel is not going anywhere. But this is just basically us merging our content together a little bit, well, into my channel.
Well, for example, like for the What If Goku Say single series, like in theory we could remaster it, but we could not move the original due to how many people were on that project, and it'd take forever to get consent from like everybody.
Yeah, because there are a lot of people who worked on that, right? I believe, and you had a lot of guests on that story.
There was a guest for like almost every single episode, so in theory it would take way too long to try to go back and do that in theory. But
Yeah,
one thing that I am considering doing is redubbing all the MHA stuff into with your voice instead, because basically we already have MHA content on the main channel, so the only difference is like those series just be written by me basically, so nothing too crazy in my opinion.
yeah, and I basically just use my my best voice acting skills to kind of like, and either redub it, I guess.
I think the main thing would be syncing it to the video, but we'll try our best with that, obviously. But one thing is, I think the Stain series, I know you like that one, with the take that I kind of went that direction.
Yeah, I did like that. I'll have to rewatch that again, but I did like that when it originally was airing.
And I'll probably continue the remaster for Green Lantern Deku, but obviously Sage's just gonna redub over all of it, so that's gonna take a while, but at the same time, with the video kind of already being done, it definitely will help as far as getting like semi-new content, because like there's some small errors that could be fixed in the scripting process and still match visuals, like stuff like that, nothing too crazy.
Yeah. Now, oh man, so there's gonna be a decent amount of parts going on with this little thing. To be honest, that Green Lantern deck is definitely something that is pretty fun though. I will say that. I mean,
I will say this: I'm not gonna stop Sage if he wants creative input for things, but I'm gonna at least try to do a better mesh as far as things go, because we do have completely different writing styles as far as that goes, but I think it won't be that bad in all honesty, as long as the core is still there.
Yeah.
Like for example, the Sakura killing Naruto. That series, that was partly scripted by me, but you took it in the direction that needed to go from there for the most part.
Yeah, that was a fun series to work on. That was really fun. But I don't know if I really could have like done that alone, because of like how like but honestly taking a direct, so it was kind of nice to have someone to help out with that one.
I do want to say something real quick. We're not gonna pull a game theory. We've witnessed like recently what's happening with like all their co-hosts and stuff, like them trying to run it like as a traditional TV channel in some aspects, and we don't want to do that. No, obviously, like Comic Drake, Shycast, Gaijin, Goomba, all those people, like they brought up significant points that the YouTube algorithm basically took a toll on the channel as a whole, and we don't intend to have any more co-hosts, and we'll still do collaborations, but we're not adding anyone else besides myself, basically. But
Yeah.
it's simple.
Now, to be fair, I have seen channels like Linus, Tech Tips, and our channel successfully have multiple co-hosts as well. So, while we do think that this can work, or at least we're trying, it's not something we're looking at the moment at all.
Like, it's not that we're against the idea of adding more people in the future, but we do not want to overplay our cards at the moment.
Yes.
Now, my channel's not going to be dead. I'm still going to continue my air reviews and eventually practice live streams and stuff, because the main thing that I have conflicts with Sage's channel right now is I can't do stuff as well on the fly as he can. That's the main issue that I personally have, but that's something I think we can fix over time.
Yeah. Yeah, but we do have a couple things in place to help logistically make this work out in the long term, or at least for the next few years. And part of part of this is going to include doing podcasting again. Hello, we're podcasting right now. Hi, how are you doing? It's nice to meet you. And it's essentially doing the revamp of the Sage's Sanctum with obviously a different name. We're going to probably call that Sage's Sanctum Reborn or something like that. Oh, Pokemon Reborn. Love that. And then down the line, we're going to be better planning out things to week to not get overwhelmed with other wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. I'm making a Doctor Who reference. And this is going to be, however, be once a week, but we might do less in all honesty to make sure we have enough meaningful topics to talk about each episode. Because eventually, one of the problems I always have with some of my podcasts, which is it's hard to find a good topic every freaking week, because of the fact that it is just, is there really anything interesting news when it comes to like talking about something? Not all the time. I mean, the one time, when I was doing doing my podcast on the other channel, it was just something that we kind of ran into a problem with. You do not find interesting topics every freaking week. I mean, I could probably shit on Australia. I could have probably shit on Australia as much as I wanted to, but that doesn't make things that just gets not interesting over time.
I think the other issue we had was that, like, even though we could talk about heavier topics, we aren't really experts in anything. I prefer to try to move more towards like a lighter-ish tone, basically.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Now, we do have a shared vision and a couple goals for the channel, because seeing larger channels like Smosh and etc., they have different ideas and direction to focus the channel, and it can create conflict and lead to lack of direction and focus. There isn't going to be that. We don't want to have that at all.
Like, if you've seen current day Smosh and when they started with just like, with Ian and right. Anthony, yeah, both of them. When it was just them for the most part, I relatively thought the direction, at least the direction as a whole, was fine. Even if some stuff is dated, you could kind of tell the passion was still there. But once things kind of broke apart with Defy and all this other stuff, like, oh, game theory, they come back in the story. You can kind of tell what happened, unfortunately. So that brings us to our next point, actually, that we're going to talk about.
We are not selling the channel or joining an MCN or trying to do something where the direction of the channel itself can be affected. We don't like having first off, MCNs are garbage by themselves, and just like they're just a no. Like, yeah, maybe there are some MCNs that are genuine, I guess, but the time to run MCNs is just kind of outdated in my opinion, especially with how things have been changing. The only thing that you can really benefit from MCNs is copyright shit, but even then you're kind of shit out of luck in that direction. And once you eventually reach a point where you hit, like, let's say 100,000 subscribers, you get a partner. So what ends up happening is that you are signed to a contract with a network that's taking a decent chunk of your revenue, while also just having them deal with copyright issues, which is what your fucking partner manager is supposed to do. Now, to be fair, And like another, to be fair, like maybe some people are fine with that. I'm not gonna judge y'all for that, but that's not what we want to do at all. And obviously, again, Sony channel, no.
That is something like, if we were just gonna quit, then that would probably be on the table. But I don't think that's gonna be like till a couple decades. I feel like,
Yeah.
because I think with the more collaboration between both of us, I think that there's a lot better like communication between us and respect. Like, that's the one thing we kind of want to maintain the best we can. And sure, we do joke around, but I think some people can tell that's just part of our like character dynamics, not necessarily us being mean to each other.
We're like a fucking anime dynamic or some shit.
I guess we're part of the Boy Scouts now.
Shit.
Actually, no, I'm not even gonna say that.
Boy Scouts.
Well, I didn't have anything better to say.
Oh boy.
Implications.
Oh god. So that's it. So I feel, yeah, there was like, oh my god, the Boy Scout line.
I'm sorry, people. I killed Sage for my horrible joke.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. The audience isn't gonna mind. Maybe.
So what's
I don't
next
know.
after this podcast? We got a few ideas we'll throw by you, but comment which one you would like for us to do.
Yes, but in terms of the ideas, I got anime and manga recommendations. I am the anime sage. I do watch anime. I mean,
As much as I do.
I think I do watch a decent amount, and I am consuming. I do. Oh, I guess I have to step my game up. But
call you the manga sage instead, because technically I only have like one manga on my anime list that's recorded.
I also read manga too. so you're down in that lead.
I mean, I'm literally reading Boruto. Like, what do you think I'm at?
I would say I guess would be like chapter 40, maybe like halfway through around.
You know, let me check.
There are spoilers though going on right now for that latest Boruto chapter.
I think it's 70, right?
There's like 89. There's now 80 chapters with the spoiler coming out.
Yeah, I really got the number up there then. Yeah, I'm at chapter 43 actually, so I am a bit higher than 40.
Okay, so I was only 3 chapters off. But yeah, that was that. Though anime manga recommendations, those are kind of standard, and obviously, that's just something that is probably going to be standard.
I'm definitely gonna read Record of Ragnarok because I'm not watching slideshow animation.
Oh my god, that is just I read a bit of Record of Ragnarok. I never got back onto it, but seeing that fucking slideshow animation was just wow. I'm just in awe.
That's the time an anime convinced me to read the manga and not watch the show.
I have never seen something get butchered that badly before in my life. And then I'm probably like, well, you know what? Maybe like there are like a few animes that I really would say read the manga for. MHA at one point was probably one of them, although unfortunately the manga is kind of going into one of those like very gray areas of going up and down. I'm not gonna forgive them for what they did to Mirko though. I wanted them fives, and yet I got hurt and I got a stump instead.
I'm planning to I think Trigun's gonna be the next one I'm gonna read, because I don't think either anime adaptation seems to follow the manga completely.
That's a probably decent idea. Oh, actually, that's another manga I got recommended from, like, I believe from Jobber was like Baki, I think.
You haven't read Baki?
I have not.
No? I don't know. I think you'll like it.
Yep. Oh, that's cool. And he also recommended me Trigun's manga as well in that conversation.
Yeah, that's the thing with Trigun. So both anime adaptations really don't follow it as well, it feels like. And like, I'm just really shocked. Like that. Don't get me wrong. The CG in the new one looks fine, but it's just not what I expected, I guess.
Yeah, there's actually for the manga, there's like a Trigoon, and then there's Trigoon Maximum.
Other topics we want to do is fan theories and speculation. So we talked a little bit about this earlier, but the idea is to cover like our speculations on like current series or talk about some older theories. Because the thing is, like, realistically, there's no way we'll be able to cover like a ton of these like Naruto and like Boruto theories in videos. Like,
there's like possible. So there's like none of them would really fit for a video topic, and it's just like a nightmare.
Well, there's enough of them that are short. We probably could just do a whole podcast episode just talking about them.
True. And honestly, it's fun to like talk about some of those theories. Like one of my favorite theory, although the best Naruto theory of all time has to be Higash's master plan.
I don't count that, but okay.
that
was a 4chan post. I'm sure it was a meme. It wasn't supposed to be serious.
I mean, I don't care. I think it's a great theory.
What else? Oh yeah, we want to talk about anime and manga adaptations. We'll probably do MHA first, because actually Naruto probably, because we're both familiar enough with that.
We could probably easily discuss like the differences between the anime and manga.
We might be able to talk about different anime adaptations if Sage watches the original Hellsing. We might do that for an episode.
And also, we also do Soul Leveling if that ever when that releases. Considering I'm a big Soul Leveling fan. By the way, read Soul Leveling. There was a fucking epilogue, and now Ragnarok's going on.
I did want to bring up one other thing. This is more channel news things, but we do have plans to try to put some of the older streams on the second channel. It'll just take a while to do that, obviously.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a finale stream over there once we hit 1K as a celebration for a second channel. So hopefully people will subscribe and go do that.
Yeah. Please do that. And speaking of like news segments, but less than we did in the original podcast. This is mostly going to revolve around
so
anime
much stuff we didn't care about. Don't felt like.
Yeah. The times I did care about something was probably like the Kobe shit because that happened during that era, and other shit.
I think what we'll probably do, as far as doing like anime and manga news particularly, since I'm passionate enough about dub material, we'll talk about that a little bit more than normal, at least for movie releases, because y'all need to go to the theaters and watch them and support stuff, because otherwise we won't get stuff anymore if not enough people are watching.
Yeah, because like yeah, because one of the things that's important for like some of these like companies is like not just like movie sales or whatever, but also not just like Blu-ray sales, but also movies. You gotta support the franchises, man. You gotta put your all into that shit.
Because otherwise we'll just get like Toei stuff and like the bigger companies. We won't get like smaller ones. They're trying to actually release stuff.
It's why I was so happy that JJK's movie did very well. Like that made me very happy.
But the voice actors got screwed over, at least the English ones.
Yeah.
That's why I need to support him, because otherwise they could have probably got more money if it was showing more, possibly.
And now, obviously, this kind of brings us back to like what we were saying at the beginning. Guests at times will be a must with our podcast, but again, we're at the start. We're just going back to our original dynamic and kind of feel ourselves a little bit, and we're not really in the mood to do that right at the moment.
We're kind of there. We just never done something like for, I guess, for an audience per se. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, fair. And
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's actually it. So how about we talk about a couple of more important things? You guys can probably like tune out if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend that because we're going to be talking about the new Patreon revamp that I've done for 2023. So let's go over a bunch of these. on our Patreon page, there are 6 tiers of support, each with its own set of rewards. First off, at $1 a month, you become a rookie of culture and get basic access to my Patreon community. You ask me a question via DMs, Discord, or Twitter, and I'll answer it in DMs or my latest video if it fits my question of the day section. For $5 a month, become a proficient.
Brings one more thing for $1 tier. So, one of our plans is if there's a rare chance we can't cover everything, we'll do a podcast episode. We'll just cover a ton of them in one thing, just to make sure everyone gets their thing answered, basically.
Yes, and that's
or a live stream, depending on which one we can do.
And yeah, so that's one thing about. So that's the $1 tier. For $5, you can join me in a privacy once a week in my Discord server where you can ask me questions and such. And you get the $5 patron role in my Discord server. Also, by the way, again, these rewards stack up onto each other. So if you buy the $5 tier, you also get the $1 tier rewards. I mean, why wouldn't you? So just to clarify there.
Just make sure you use them, because there are people, if you don't leave a question or whatnot, we don't know what you want for that
exactly.
month.
Exactly. For $10 a month, you can become an almost culture sage and get a general shout out in my video, early access to my next video script, and all the rewards of the first 2 tiers, plus a $10 patron role in the server. And then to take it up a notch with the culture sage tier for $20 a month, you get a verbal shout out in my videos, early access to videos before they come out, and a higher role in my Discord server as a $20 patron, plus all the rewards of the first 3 tiers. And then at the advanced culture stage tier for $30 a month, you'll receive a follow on a platform of your choice, and which is now, well, originally, but now you get to follow your choice on Twitter and Instagram, and then you get access to a special Discord server along with the rewards of the first 4 tiers. And then for $50 a month, you become a perfect sage of culture and get to send video requests for what if scenarios. Plus, you'll get a $50 role in Discord server, access to the special Discord server, and blah blah blah. You get basically all the rewards of the
yeah, we get it.
Yeah. And then finally, the highest tier, the next Aram Kane. Because for a while, when I said harem, I substituted harem for Aram. For $75 a month, you'll receive a personalized video message from me thanking you all for your support. You also get the highest patron role on our Discord server, access to the special Discord server, and blah blah. And then before I end off the podcast, that's all the Patreon wars. But I have to kind of talk about this question because there is a big problem with bots. If you've seen the Telegram scams and the booty shit from like all the robot woman or whatever, you'll kind of know what you're talking about. And then there's also a problem with self-promotion bots who post their fanfic readings done by a robot voice with no effort to scammers, and of course everything else in between.
I believe how many you have to get rid of to actually do on your channel.
I would imagine it's a lot. My moderators, aka Drew and everyone else, have done their best to stop them in the comment section and in live streams, but it is a fucking mess. This has been happening for years, and despite most creators complaining about it, nothing has been done about it. So as time goes on, it gets worse. Soon, I'm expecting it will become far more of an issue if nothing is done on YouTube's, and I really don't want my channel to be a place where scammers scam you. I don't want people to be simming over Android booty or something else. You hear me? Except Android 18 or any other Android that's in anime, because Android 18 is fine as hell. But I wanted to offer you guys a privilege for anyone who donates or has donated to my Patreon. So first off, to the people who have previously donated me, you can either DM me on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, or proof of donation. And for current and new Patreon members, here's the deal. So I'll have my editor personally verify all the Patreon owners' channels to comment. As all of you are real humans who make these videos possible, you alone will be able to post in the comments without being flagged, as the text system sucks. Now, why am I doing it this way? Well, YouTube has no automated way to actually do this process. In fact, everyone who opts in on Patreon, we manually approved by me or Drew, which, with this project being handled by only 2 of us, and as our whole team of members don't really have direct channel access to YouTube's other vulnerabilities, this is a fucking admin nightmare. Well, for Drew mostly, but hey, I do my best too.
Yeah, this is suffer through this. Oh no.
This is not ideal, but we will have to do the best we can with this plan. But we do want to raise visibility to people who support the channel and help make these videos happen. So if you've been watching the channel for years and have been wanting a long-lasting reward that doesn't go away, even if you only pledge a month or have pledged in the past on Patreon, this is for you. You only need to pledge in any category, and this means a lot to me and also raises awareness to YouTube of this issue, and if not, regular commenters who have been unaware of this issue for a very long time. I will still try my best to get rid of the bots, but this is the long-term solution to this issue that I've come up with, and Drew as well. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. That's about it for our podcast.
Bye, people.